Caitlin Clark injury update. Fever star ruled out of showdown this Aces. The Indiana Fever, the newly minted 2025 Commissioner's Cup champions, return home to Gainbridge Fieldhouse in Indianapolis on Thursday, July 3, to face off against the Las Vegas Aces without Caitlin Clark. Clark will sit out her fourth consecutive game Thursday due to a left groin injury, which also kept her out of the Fever's 74-59 win over the Minnesota Lynx in the 2025 Commissioner's Cup final on July 1. She's set to miss her ninth game of the season after a quad injury sidelined her 5 games last month. The Fever have gone 4-4 without Clark in the lineup, but eagerly await her return to the court. So, Jason, you are a fan first, so take us on this ride. You ready? I'm doing everything I can to put myself in a position to play the next game every single time, Clark said on June 29. That's always my goal, to be available for the next game. Doing everything I can with the medical staff to be able to get my body right and be able to do that. Despite being listed as day-to-day, Clark was ruled out of Thursday's matchup one day before the game. Fever head coach Stephanie White said July 2 that the team was taking a cautious approach with Clark and putting her long-term health and wellness at the forefront. I think it's 5 games before All-Star break, White continued, so let's just ease her mind, even though she's antsy, and let's do this the right way and make sure we're ready to go and 100% when she comes back. Women's sports. The latest news and insider insights from USA Today's Studio NX. Trends beginning. Here's everything you need to know about the 2024 WNBA Rookie of the Year's playing status. Is Caitlin Clark playing versus Las Vegas Aces? No. Clark was ruled out for Thursday's matchup against the Aces, the second meeting between the two teams this season. The Fever lost the first matchup 89-81 in Las Vegas on June 22. Clark had 19 points, 10 assists, and 3 rebounds in the loss. The game is scheduled for 7 p.m. ET on Thursday, July 3. It can be streamed on Prime Video. Caitlin Clark injury update. What happened? Head coach Stephanie White said she first learned of Clark's groin injury on June 25 following the Fever's 94-86 win over the Seattle Storm on June 24, where Clark finished with 6 points, 3 of 13, FG 0 of 6, 9 assists, 3 steals, and 2 rebounds in 31 minutes of play. Clark previously suffered a quad injury during the Fever's 90-88 loss to the New York Liberty on May 24th. Clark returned to the Fever's lineup on June 14 in the Fever's 102-88 win over the Liberty after missing 5 games, which officially ended her longest stretch of miss due to injury in her collegiate or WNBA career. She dropped 32 points, 9 assists, and 8 rebounds in her first game back. No one said this season was going to be perfect for us. There's going to be ups and downs, Clark said on June 29. From injuries or coaches not being here for a couple of games, everybody has been through a little bit of adversity here. So I think just giving our group credit for being able to stick together and know that whatever we have in our locker room is really all we need to go out there and win. I'm just proud of our group. The hardwood was quieter than usual. No swish of a logo 3, no sharp bounce pass splitting defenders, no Caitlin Clark. The Indiana Fever had prepared all week for a clash that felt more like a litmus test than a basketball game, an identity match against the reigning champion Las Vegas Aces. It was supposed to be fire versus fury, but as team officials stepped forward the morning of the game, their statement fell like a hush across the WNBA landscape. Caitlin Clark has been ruled out of tonight's game against the Las Vegas Aces. Ongoing groin soreness. She is progressing, but not cleared for game action. The headline hit like a full-court press. The absence felt around the league. Caitlin Clark is not just a rookie, she's a revolution in sneakers. The kind of athlete whose presence shifts ticket sales, TV ratings, defensive schemes, and the narrative of women's sports. Her absence wasn't merely a subtraction, it was a recalibration. Inside the Fever locker room, there was no panic, just a new question. Who will step into the void? The moment offered an opportunity, one Clark herself might call poetic. Basketball's always been about more than one person, she said earlier in the season. When I'm out, it's not about what we're missing, it's about who we become. And so, Indiana took the court not as a star-led story, but as a collective mission. From spotlight to sideline Clark, sporting a team hoodie and sneakers instead of her usual white and red uniform, paced the sideline like a coach's shadow. Her fingers drummed against her thigh as plays unfolded. When Aaliyah Boston muscled in for a rebound, Clark was the first to stand and clap. The whistle sounded a second, and when Ari McDonald hit a corner three, Clark yelled across the bench, "Keep shooting!" The groin injury had crept up gradually like a thief in the night. First tightness, then strain, then the burning realization that this body, pushed through college seasons, Olympic qualifiers, rookie campaigns, needed time, not toughness. And so, for the fourth straight game, the face of the Fever, and arguably the league, watched, waited, and healed. The game goes on. Tip-off came with an eerie tension. Vegas brought its usual firepower, Aja Wilson gliding like a storm cloud, Jackie Young slicing through gaps, Chelsea Gray orchestrating from the top of the key, but the Fever didn't flinch. Boston played with a chip the size of Monument Circle. McDonald, signed initially to a 7-day contract, played like it was a 7-year deal. The game was tight, ugly, passionate, exactly the kind of battle Caitlin Clark thrives in, and now could only spectate. And yet, her spirit hovered over every possession. The defensive hustle, the long rebounds, the crisp cuts off ball. These were trademarks of a team learning to grow beyond one brilliant player. Not without her, but because of her.